Elsewhere in the country, there are council elections, but not here in Greater Manchester this year. All we're concerned with is the European Parliament. Across the continent, 736 MEPs are to be elected, and here you can see how many come from each of the 27 member states. 72 of those are from here in the UK, and in the UK there are 12 constituencies, and here in Greater Manchester we fall into the North West constituency, shown here in green. Now, if we zoom further in, it stretches as far north as Cumbria and as far south as Cheshire, and together we'll elect 8 MEPs. That's fewer than in 2004 when we elected 9, 3 Conservative, 3 Labour, 2 Liberal Democrat and 1 from the UK Independence Party. This time around here there are 12 parties to choose from plus 1 independent, and while normally their campaigns would focus on European issues, inevitably the recession and the expenses scandal have been the focus of much of their attention.
It's not a time to have a protest. If you protest in a PR election, you may end up with an extremist party who will do nothing for you. I think people need good representation. We've worked very hard over the last 10 years in this region to deliver the best benefits for the region. We're determined to do that. I won't be distracted personally by all of these discussions because I have a job to do in making sure that I deliver for my constituents.
What people are saying to me is that they feel that Europe is very remote, that they don't understand exactly what our MEPs do, they don't understand how our taxpayers' money is being spent over in Brussels. So what we very much focused on is trying to limit the powers of the European Union, take more powers back to our Parliament where I think they're better served.
People realise that if they want to have a major change on the environment and the climate issues and the emissions of gases from vehicles, etc., then Europe is the way to do it. An individual country can't do that. You know, the weather, the environment, the atmosphere is not bordered to a particular member state country.
75% of our laws are now made by faceless bureaucrats in Brussels. It's costing the taxpayers in the North West £40 million a day. And when Gordon Brown talks about British jobs for British workers, he may as well be saying British jobs for EU workers, because whilst we're members of the European Union, we have absolutely no control over who comes in this country from the EU states.
The Green Party are the only party that are putting forward the new platform to say this is how we can create the jobs. Why are we spending money on Trident? Why are we spending money on ID cards? That's money that should be in job creation right now, because people are hurting up and down the North West and around Greater Manchester at the moment. They're worried about jobs, and I think we need real action on that today.
One of the big hurdles for all the parties is convincing us how decisions made in Strasbourg and Brussels have a direct effect on all our lives. I've had a look back over the last few years, and they've thrashed out deals on allowing people to work anywhere across the EU. Targets on reducing climate change have been agreed. Phone firms have been ordered to cut costs for European calls and texts, and pressure's been put on countries to do more on child obesity. Now, this election works on proportional representation, so there's no first-past-the-post winner. Instead, parties send MEPs based on the percentage of votes they get. Maybe as little as 8% could be enough. A national opinion poll this week put the Tories on 40%, Labour on 18%, the Lib Dems on 18% as well, and then adding together all the other parties, including UKIP, the Greens and the BNP, that makes up 24%. At the last European election, the turnout here in the North West was 41%. Just in Greater Manchester, there are 1.9 million people eligible to vote. So if that turnout was repeated, 793,000 of us will be voting. And all the main parties are keen to get as many of us to the polls as possible. Voting is from 7 a.m. till 10 p.m. and the results will be announced on Sunday evening once all the other countries have finished voting.